Let me ask you something. Are your emails and messages really getting the results you want? Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to transform your professional writing from, a source of stress into your greatest strength. Let's kick things off with a message that probably feels a little too familiar.
Oof. Yeah. Does that sound familiar? We've all been on the receiving end of a message like that. And hey, if we're being totally honest with ourselves, maybe we've even sent one. I mean, it's direct, sure, but it's also packed with frustration, and it pretty much guarantees the other person is going to shut down, not speed up.
So that's really the big question we're going to tackle. Bad communication, it costs time, it hurts relationships, and it just kills productivity. But the good news is there is a proven way to get it right every single time. Most of the time, miscommunication isn't because of bad intentions. It's actually caused by a breakdown in what is a surprisingly delicate process. Let's actually take a look at how a message travels from your brain to your readers.
So every single message, whether it's a quick chat or a formal report, goes through this exact process. You get an idea, you try to put it into words, that's called encoding. You pick a channel, maybe email. Then your reader has to decode it, and you just hope their interpretation matches what you meant. And here's the thing. Every single one of those steps is a potential point of failure. Your tone could get misread, a joke could fall flat, your brilliant idea could sound like a demand. This is exactly why having a simple framework is so essential.
So how do we get through that minefield? Well, the answer isn't to just type faster and hope for the best. It's to use a simple, structured blueprint that the pros rely on to make sure their message lands exactly as they intended. It's called the 3x3 writing process. It breaks everything down into 3 really logical phases. Pre-writing, that's your planning. Drafting, that's the actual writing. And revising, the polish. Now, it seems pretty obvious, right? But the secret weapon isn't the phases themselves. It's all about how you divide your time between them. Okay, now this is where most of us get it wrong. We pour all of our energy into just getting that first draft out the door. But look at where the pros spend their time. A staggering 50%, fully half of their effort goes into revising. That is where the real work of communication actually happens. Polishing, clarifying, and perfecting the message. So, the most crucial point is this. Powerful writing is not about getting it perfect on the first try. It's about committing to the rewrite. With that in mind, let's jump into that first phase.
Right. Before you type a single word, the absolute most important thing you can do is to stop thinking about yourself and start thinking about your reader. The entire message needs to be built around them.
And who are you really talking to? It is almost never just one person. Think about it. Who might this email get forwarded to? Who's their boss? Who else on the team might need to see this? When you consider every potential reader, it completely changes how you write.
This is what we call the difference between a primary audience, your main recipient, and a secondary audience, the people who might see it later. If you know your email to a coworker has a good chance of being forwarded to the vice president, you're probably going to adjust your tone and add a little more context, right? Of course you are. That's planning for your audience.
Let's see this in action. A sender-focused message says, all employees are instructed to file these forms so we can allocate training funds. It's all about what we need. But now, check out the audience-focused version. By filling out the enclosed questionnaire, you can be one of the first employees to sign up for our training funds. See that difference? It's all about their benefit.
This is a little trick called the you view. Instead of saying, we are requiring all employees to respond, you say, because your ideas count, please complete the survey. It's such a simple switch, just changing I and we to you and your, but it completely transforms the tone. It makes the reader feel valued, not like they're just being ordered around.
Okay, so we've planned with our audience in mind. We've got a first draft down on paper. Now we're entering the most critical phase, where we spend half our time revising. This is where good intentions become great results.
And listen, revising is not just about catching typos. It's about running your draft through a series of strategic filters to make it sharper, clearer, and way more impactful. Let's look at 3 of the most powerful ones.
First up, we flip negative language into positive language. So instead of pointing out a roadblock, this plan cannot succeed if we don't get approval, we highlight the solution. This plan can succeed once we get approval. One sounds like a problem, the other sounds like a plan forward.
Next, we scan for unconscious bias. It's so easy to just fall back on default terms like chairman or salesman, but using inclusive, bias-free language like chairperson or sales representative is not only more accurate, it's more professional and respectful to every single person who might read your message. And finally, we kill the jargon. Seriously,
Why say commensurate when you can just say equal? Why write terminate when you really just mean end? The goal of business writing is to express, not to impress. Clarity wins every single time. All right, let's put it all together and see how these revision techniques can totally transform a message. On the left, you've got a first draft. It's wordy, it's company-focused, a little confusing. Then on the right, after we've applied these filters, that's the revision. Don't worry about reading every word. Just look at the difference in the structure and clarity. It's a total transformation.
So how did that happen? Well, it was a pretty simple three-part process. First, the writer shifted the focus from the company to the employee's benefits. That's the you view. Second, they took all those passive, wordy sentences and made them active and direct. And third, they swapped out the jargon for simple, clear words. It's the same information, but one version gets ignored and the other one gets results.
Look, this isn't just theory, it's a toolkit. So think about it. What is the one single change you can start making today? Maybe it's dedicating more time to revision, or adopting that you view, or just simplifying your words. Because better writing doesn't just get you faster replies, it builds your reputation as a clear, effective, and professional communicator.